The Bab al-Mandab, or Gate of Tears, is a narrow strait that connects the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean, a choke point through which a huge share of global trade flows. Every day, thousands of ships including oil tankers and container vessels navigate these waters, carrying goods and energy supplies between continents. Whoever controls this waterway wields immense power over the world's economy. The ability to open or close this gate can determine the fate of nations, making it one of the most strategically valuable locations on the planet. Once the concern of naval strategists, the Bab al-Mandab is now the center of a high-stakes rivalry between Egypt and Israel. The Red Sea is an extension of the Suez Canal, its economic lifeline. Any threat here is a threat to its survival. The canal brings billions in revenue and is vital for Egypt's stability, so protecting this route is a matter of national security. For Israel, securing a port far to the south means strategic depth and a guarantee that its trade won't be choked off in a crisis. The Red Sea offers Israel a crucial outlet to the world, bypassing potential blockades in the Mediterranean. The region's fragile states, Somalia, Somaliland, Djibouti, Eritrea, and Yemen, have become pawns in this struggle. Their governments are courted by outside powers, their ports and coastlines transformed into strategic assets in a global contest. Disruption here would send shockwaves through global supply chains, spiking fuel prices and threatening economies worldwide. Even a brief closure could lead to shortages, inflation, and uncertainty in markets from Asia to Europe. Egypt and Israel are now drawing in other powers, igniting old tensions and creating new ones. The United States, Gulf states, and even China are watching closely, each with their own interests at stake. The world is only beginning to notice the shadows gathering at the Gate of Tears. As competition intensifies, the risks of miscalculation and conflict grow ever more real. The outcome of this contest could reshape the balance of power far beyond the Horn of Africa, influencing global trade, security, and the future of international relations for years to come. Egypt, alarmed by Israel's moves, has rapidly deepened its military partnership with Somalia's government in Mogadishu. Thousands of Egyptian troops and advisors now support Somalia's fight against al-Shabaab, but the real aim is to counter Israeli influence across the Gulf of Aden in Somaliland. Egypt's military aid, equipment, training, and logistics signals a red line to Israel and a warning to Ethiopia, with whom Egypt is locked in a bitter dispute over the Nile. By embedding itself in Somalia, Egypt is challenging both Israel and Ethiopia, determined to protect its interests at any cost. The message is clear. Egypt will not allow rivals to threaten its access to the Red Sea or the Suez Canal. The Horn of Africa has become the front line in Egypt's struggle for regional dominance. On December 26, 2025, Israel became the first nation to officially recognize Somaliland's independence, a move that sent shockwaves through Africa and the Middle East. The announcement was met with surprise and confusion, as most of the world still considers Somaliland a breakaway region of Somalia. Yet, Israel's decision was anything but impulsive. For Israel, the motivation was clear: secure a strategic partner and a foothold at the port of Berbera, overlooking the Bab al-Mandab. This port is a gateway to the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest maritime corridors, and a vital artery for global trade and energy supplies. This alliance gives Israel a direct presence near a vital shipping lane, allowing it to monitor and protect its maritime interests. With instability in the region, having eyes and influence at Berbera could prove invaluable for Israel's security and economic ambitions. The move infuriated Egypt and Somalia, and drew condemnation from the Arab world and African Union, who fear it could fuel separatist movements. Many African leaders worry that recognizing Somaliland could set a precedent, encouraging other regions to seek independence and destabilizing the continent further. But for Israel, the benefits outweighed the risks: a friendly state in a critical location, and a new axis with the UAE, which has invested heavily in Berbera. This partnership could reshape alliances and trade routes in the Horn of Africa. Together, Israel and the UAE are building a new center of power in the Horn, challenging the influence of Turkey, Iran, and Egypt. Their investments in infrastructure and security are already shifting the balance of power in the region. The recognition of Somaliland is a bold gamble, one that could redraw the region's map and alter the course of African and Middle Eastern geopolitics for years to come. The stakes for both Israel and its rivals have never been higher, as the Horn of Africa becomes the latest arena in a global contest for influence and security. Egypt's conservative strategy backs Somalia's central government, positioning Cairo as a defender of sovereignty and regional stability. This approach has drawn support from Turkey and many African nations wary of separatism. Israel, by contrast, has upended the status quo, appealing to Somaliland and other regions seeking autonomy. Its alliance with the UAE, cemented by the Abraham Accords, provides both economic muscle and political cover for Somaliland's ambitions. The region is now split. Egypt and Turkey back Mogadishu, while Israel and the UAE support Somaliland. These rival blocs are reshaping alliances and raising the risk of wider conflict. Turkey has doubled down on its support for Somalia, expanding its military presence and deepening its involvement in the country's security affairs. Turkish forces are not only training Somali troops, but also providing advanced equipment and infrastructure, aiming to cement their influence in the region for years to come. Now Turkey is building a new base near Somaliland's borders, a direct challenge to Israel's foothold in Berbera and a signal to other regional players that Ankara intends to shape the balance of power. The UAE, meanwhile, has transformed Berbera into a modern port, investing heavily in infrastructure and logistics to turn it into a strategic hub for trade and military operations. The Emiratis have aligned with Israel to secure their investments, forging new partnerships that extend their reach and protect their interests in the Horn of Africa. At the same time, they are working to counter rivals like Turkey and Iran, each seeking to expand their own spheres of influence in this strategic corridor. Ethiopia, desperate for sea access and eager to break free from its landlocked constraints, has been searching for a way to reach the coast and secure its economic future. The government in Addis Ababa tried to strike a deal with Somaliland, hoping to gain a port and a new route to the sea, but Ethiopia backed down under intense pressure from Egypt and Somalia, both of whom saw the move as a threat to their own interests and regional stability. Now, Ethiopia is caught between rival blocs, its ambitions frustrated and its options narrowing as the region becomes more polarized. Ethiopian leaders are left searching for alternatives, as the shifting alliances and mounting tensions make it harder to achieve their goals. The Horn of Africa has become a battleground for outside powers, each maneuvering for advantage and seeking to shape the region's future. Every nation involved is pursuing its own interests, often at the expense of local stability and cooperation. Every move by one player triggers counter-moves by others, creating a complex web of alliances and rivalries that is constantly shifting. The contest for control is escalating, with military buildups and diplomatic standoffs becoming more frequent and intense. The stakes are not just local, they're global as the region sits astride vital trade routes and energy corridors that connect continents. Trade, security, and influence are all on the line, with the outcome set to impact not just Africa but the wider world. The region's future hangs in the balance, shaped by the ambitions and actions of both local and foreign powers. As these powers maneuver for advantage, the Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads, its destiny uncertain and its importance undeniable. The Horn of Africa is now split into two clear alliances. Egypt and Turkey lead the pro-Somalia bloc, joined by Qatar, Iran, and even Saudi Arabia, all seeking to preserve Somalia's territorial integrity. Their unity was on display at the inauguration of Somalia's new northeastern state, a show of strength against the Israel-UAE axis. On the other side, Israel and the UAE back Somaliland, aiming to create a stable, friendly state at the mouth of the Red Sea. Their support could embolden other separatist movements, making them a powerful but destabilizing force. High-level meetings between Israeli and Somaliland leaders signal a deepening commitment. The region is now a battleground between those defending the old order and those determined to build a new one. By early 2026, the rivalry has erupted into open confrontation. Egypt issues stark warnings, while the Houthis in Yemen threaten to target any Israeli presence in Somaliland, raising the risk of direct attacks on the Berbera port. The African Union is caught in the crossfire, struggling to mediate as its own principles are tested. Military assets are in place, rhetoric is escalating, and the world watches as the region teeters on the brink. The fate of global trade and regional stability hangs by a thread. The silent battle has become a deafening standoff. The next move could determine the future of the Gate of Tears and the world beyond.